Hello everyone, my name is Barbara and I would like to welcome you all to this special Knowledge webinar episode. I'm thrilled to introduce Autodesk Mythbusters. Have you been wondering lately what will be the impact of all the change going on with Autodesk on your business? Here is your opportunity to separate myth from reality. Presenting this webinar is Ray Savona. Ray is responsible for Sale at Autodesk Partner Program and Technical Sales in North and South America. Ray brings over 25 years of experience in many facets of sales, including territory sales, sales operation, technical support, consulting services, and field marketing in both the hardware and software industries. What a treat to have him here with us today. Before we get going, here's an overview of what we do at Noveg. Noveg is one of the largest online stores for design software. We offer a huge assortment of software solutions that cater to virtually every designer's need. Visit noveg.com to take advantage of the incredible promotion going on right now for Autodesk products. And right now, I mean, it's really expiring soon. On July 24th, the clock will tick and this promotion will be over. So take advantage for it. For instance, if you have to buy a new perpetual license with 2 or 3 year maintenance subscription, you get huge rebates. Or if you already own a license and you want to get up to date, you can you get considerable rebate when purchasing a desktop subscription. So these are great options, and they're not the only ones. So give us a call so you can find the best solution that works for you. Our sales heroes here at Noveg will take a look at what you have and get you up and working with the best updated and efficient software right away. But hurry, as I said, you have till July 24th to secure the best deal, so don't hesitate. And for more daily software news and limited time promotions, pay a visit to the Noveg blog and follow us on Facebook, Google+, and Twitter. Last but not least, today's special webinar is free and is being recorded live. If you want to rewatch this or any webinar episode in our collection, just head on over to Noveg's YouTube or Vimeo channels. And now, without further ado, I'm going to pass the baton and the screen to Ray so he can continue with his own presentation. We're very excited, Ray. You should be able to share your screen now.
All right, let's do a little sound check and see if you can see my screen.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay,
right,
Ray,
great.
take it from here. See you on the other side.
Okay, well, yes. All right, well, thanks and welcome everybody. It's exciting to see that we have people from as far away as Sweden and India. These changes are applicable to all of you worldwide. But most importantly, what I wanted to do is step back a little bit. Everybody's heard about the move Autodesk is making to a subscription-based model, but what I wanted to do is give you a little bit of the why, and not just the what. And the why has a lot to do with some trends that Autodesk is seeing around the future of making things. And I think it's important that I share these things with you so you can get a feel for what's going on. Technology has always been a disruptor in the way that businesses manufactured things, and it continues to be today. But I think there's some new things. They're driving some fundamental disruption. And the disruption is really around not only the way things are made or manufactured, but the way products are used, sold, and serviced. Medical devices and other products are now being customized to the individual needs of each customer. And so we're seeing this trend around mass customization. Rolls-Royce, with their Power by the Hour program, is changing the fundamental business model related to selling jet engines. And what they're doing is they no longer sell the jet engine, but they sell hours of use of that jet engine. And the technology that's allowed them to do this is obviously the fact that there's real-time information being fed back to Rolls-Royce, and they're obviously being able to bill by the hour versus large capital outlays up front. Google's not selling Nest because they want to sell thermostats. Nest is being sold as a piece of the connected home and a way to expand their reach. Clearly, the future of making things has the potential to impact a wide range of businesses, and I think it's going to impact all of you and all of your businesses. Underlying these changes is an evolution in technology and the technology that we use to design things. And it doesn't matter if we're designing buildings, bridges, or Rolls-Royce engines. At Autodesk, we've divided this evolution into 3 technology eras. The era of documentation, of optimization, and connection. The era of documentation was focused on digitizing the existing process and managing the data that resulted. It provided efficiencies, but it didn't fundamentally change the process. And I'll go back to Autodesk founding in the early 80s, and all we were really doing is digitizing the line drawings, the manual drawings that people were doing. The second era, the era of optimization, provided new ways to solve problems that could not be solved effectively with traditional development and physical prototyping process. This allowed companies to increase their capabilities and reduce costs and time to market. And simulation is a great example of that. Simulation used to be done, or testing used to be done physically. You would do drop testing or destructive testing on a product. You would do manual stress tests. Today companies are actually doing that all through a digital process, and that's really what we call the era of optimization. And then the current and most emerging era is the era of connection, and it really extends the ability of companies to connect their business processes and collaborate with stakeholders, and to change the way they operate, to transform from product-only business to an enterprise model where products become the platform for services. And that great example I gave of either the Nest or the Rolls-Royce engine is it's no longer about the product. The product is the platform for the business. The business is really hourly usage of that engine, or the data that's collected from the Nest thermostat. So these are changes in how we see design happening. And it's important to realize that each era incorporates the era that came before it. So documentation is not gone. It's still necessary. But you also need to think about optimization in the connected era as well. In a similar way, a company that moved into the era of connection still optimizes products during development, right? So even if you're highly mature and you're doing a very connected environment, you're still going back and doing optimization and documentation. So those things, really haven't changed in this. And I know it sounds like I'm giving you all a lesson on design, but it's very important, as I link it back to some things that we're doing at Autodesk. So there's 3 major effects of this disruption, right? So these technologies are really around the nature of how demand. All right, so if you look at that lower left-hand box there, we see because of this disruption, demand is changing. Mass customization is the thing that jumps out at me. We're seeing much smaller runs and much more customized expectations. If you look at what Nike's doing with tennis shoes, and the amount of scale that they get is far less than it used to be, because they're allowing people to customize. As I gave the example of medical devices, or even headphones that people are wearing that are customized to each individual. And we definitely see demand for a customized, quick, fast-to-market product changing. I think if you look at the means of production, they're changing dramatically. and it's impacting the way manufacturers both develop and produce products. The means of production is undergoing rapid innovation and change around things like additive and subtractive manufacturing. And many things are not going to mass production, and many things are being done on 3D printers or on CNC machines. So the idea of how things are made, how they go to manufacturing, really changing. And then obviously the product themselves. Products are no longer what we like to say, dead on arrival. The idea of you'd create a product, you'd put it out there, and after a year or 6 months or 2 years or whatever the life cycle of that product, you needed to replace it. Now products are intelligent when they hit the market, and they're field upgradable. The Tesla is a great example of that. That car is easily upgraded in the field. The suspension is changed. The aerodynamics of that car is changed in the field. And so expectations are that the product that I buy today may change materially in 6 months or a year. And what drives that change is, one, the consumer demand. You go back to demand, but also what the manufacturers are learning from the customers as they go out in the field. And the example of the Tesla and the fact that they changed the suspension on the car was due to all the input that they were getting back from the vehicles as they were being utilized in the field. And just a remarkable set of disruptions and changes that all of you are either seeing today or will see. And clearly Autodesk is trying to make sure that we're creating an environment that our customers are at the beginning of this. And it kind of centers around the idea that engineering teams have historically focused on product development. That's what we all did. But now we're really seeing that it's impossible to meet the demands of the future of making things with a narrow focus on just product engineering. It requires connecting development into the bidding process, sourcing, the build process, and an after-sales service. And it requires connecting more effectively with a wider world of suppliers and business partners and customers. And we see that where design teams are now more dispersed. They're not necessarily all sitting around the same floor in a building or even in the same town or country. We're seeing design teams that are taking parts of design across multi-geos. We're also seeing suppliers and the choice of suppliers be more diverse and assembly happening in one country and final component production in another country. So this idea of having a connective work environment is probably the most profound thing that all of you will end up dealing with. And so in that model, subscription becomes a new norm, right? Having a connected environment, having your products connected through the cloud, through other work groups becomes the new norm. And at Autodesk, what we've done is we've really moved rapidly to try to provide that. Now, we've been talking about this for the last 36 months. About 18 months ago, we talked about the discontinuation of perpetual licenses in the next, I think, about 12 months ago, 18 months ago, we said it was going to be 12 to 24 months. We've already announced the end of perpetual for our standalone products. That would be things like Inventor and Revit and AutoCAD, and not necessarily our suites yet, but inevitably we will be doing away with suites perpetual. And the reason that's important is we believe that we want our customers to have a connected experience. We want them to have the latest and greatest software. And so we have three basic types of subscription. There's maintenance subscription, which is the subscription that you should all be using if you prefer perpetual licenses. So buy your perpetual licenses today. Barbara talked about some of the incentives we have, but make sure you're putting it on a maintenance subscription so you have all the benefits of subscription. And obviously right now we have an incentive to do multi-year maintenance. The next one is our desktop subscription. Same thing. The idea is if you don't want to do perpetual, go ahead and buy desktop subscription, which also has all the benefits of subscription. And then the last one there is our cloud subscription. So we have certain products like Fusion, BIM 360, InfraWorks 360 that are exclusively cloud-based products, and they also come with all the benefits of subscription. For those people that want to lock in a price, what's the benefit of the multi-year? It's security. It's knowing that from a budget perspective you're taken care of. There's a little bit of a price benefit. You know what the budget for the next several years. So there's a multi-year maintenance subscription. We offer the same thing for desktop subscription. So the idea is if you're a person that actually likes the security, doesn't want all the flexibility, go ahead and buy your subscription, but buy it in a multi-year format. This last slide here, before I get into some questions and answers, is really just a great customer use case or customer feedback. This gentleman, Brian White, who works at Superior Fluid Power, small machine shop up in Spokane, Washington, he had one copy of Inventor, 5 or 6 years old. It was too expensive for him to, oops, somehow my slides got moved here. Hopefully you can all see that still. But this customer was an Inventor user, hadn't used our modern products. And I'm just going to read the email that he sent to me after I spoke to him. This is several months ago now, but Ray, I downloaded Fusion last night and went straight to design. It's awesome. I didn't know what I was missing. Didn't take long to download, and I was off and making parts. It's enough like Inventor that I was able to work with it straight away, and within an hour had a complete part with output drawings, images, in parentheses there, rendered almost instantly. It must do a ton of processing in the cloud. Video toolpaths in G-code and saved in A360 waiting for me when I arrived at work. Amazing. Thanks for the heads up. Have a great day, Brian. This is just a great example because this customer would not have taken advantage of the CAM functionalities that we now have built into the products. A360, which gave him the ability to actually take his design and put it up to the cloud from home and have it waiting there for him the next day. The instantly rendered object. And he says we must have a ton of processing power in the cloud. We absolutely do have a ton because we can share it across all our customers. And a job that probably would take him 12 hours to render locally on a machine, he did in a very short amount of time. So these are all the things that you get when you go ahead and take advantage of subscription. Now, you can do desktop subscription, you can do maintenance subscription, or you can do cloud subscription. But the idea and why Autodesk, I guess fundamentally, why is Autodesk moving to a subscription-only model are these types of examples, right? We see that things are changing. The way people are going to make things, be it buildings, be it cars, be it heart valves, the way people are making things are going to change. And as a result, we want to make sure that we're leading our customers and not following our competition as the evolution happens. And this is just a great little example of a very, very small customer. So the last thing I want to do here is keeping with the theme of Mythbusters. I want to talk a little bit about some of the questions that we got. Now, I'm not going to cover everything that I've heard, but these are some of the questions that we received ahead of this webinar, and I wanted to sort of share them with the group. I also encourage you to call your partner, make sure that you're talking and getting your questions answered. There's a lot of additional information that we all have that we can share with you, but there's clearly confusion. We're making a change in the marketplace, and I think it's important that, oops, that I keep on the same slide here. And let me just, I've got to move something off my screen so I can read these. But let me just go through some of these because I think it may help some of our customers that are on this call. I have an AutoCAD permanent license, which would be a perpetual license, under subscription. What will happen to my asset once the permanent license disappears? Nothing happens to your asset. So that's a very, very common question. If you're buying perpetual licenses today, those are your licenses. They'll stay with you forever. We encourage you to put them under subscription because then you're getting the latest and greatest. You're going to get all the updates. Plus, you get cloud credits. You get the ability to render in the cloud. There's some simulation functionality in the cloud. There's some sharing that you can do in the cloud with A360. So we really recommend storage, things like that. We really recommend you take that permanent license, get under subscription. If you have some licenses that are existing that aren't under subscription, get those under subscription. If you're buying any new licenses, just put them under subscription. I think you're fine. The second question here, do all my licenses become rentals? Do they all have to be of the same kind? The answer is no. And we don't believe that our customers are going to be in that environment. We may have customers that have permanent licenses under maintenance that sort of fill the gap for their core usage. And then they buy some desktop subscription for flex use, for project capacity that they need to increase. Or they buy desktop subscription or cloud for a product that they don't use on a regular basis, like simulation or rendering with Max, things like that. So we definitely believe that our customers are going to have a mixed environment, and we're going to be very supportive of that mixed environment. Number three how do I mix and manage old permanent licenses with new licenses? Can I hold rentals and permanent licenses at the same time? The answer, much like two, is yes. We anticipate it. We're actually going to build, we're building tools right now that are going to help our customers manage all their assets, be it maintenance subscription, desktop subscription, or cloud subscription. Number four here, after the discontinuation of standalone perpetual licenses, will all products still be available as rentals, or some products will be discontinued? The answer here is our intent is to take all of our portfolio that is available as a perpetual license and make it available as a rental or a cloud-based, desktop subscription-based. There's some caveats there. There will be certain products we discontinue as we do today. We discontinue permanent products if they're not major sellers. Over the years, we've discontinued products, and I don't want to lead anybody astray. We will continue to the products that are our major sellers will continue to be offered in desktop or in cloud subscription. Now, there's also the situation where we have some products which will not be offered in those rentals, but we'll continue to offer those in a permanent or perpetual basis. Things like Vault, our data management solution, we're not going to end up having a desktop subscription version of that, so we'll continue to offer that in a perpetual manner. So there will be some products that continue, and there will be some products that are discontinued, but I think as a rule of thumb, you can assume that all discontinued products will have a desktop or cloud option. Number five here, if all products remain available as rental, should I stock up on permanent licenses? I've had this question by many people. I think it becomes very individual. If you don't want the flexibility, if you would rather have permanent licenses, go ahead and buy them now. There's obviously some incentives to buy right now. We're doing that as a customer satisfaction gesture to try to alleviate any angst for people that want to stock up now. Make sure you put it under maintenance subscription. But at the same time, people that want flexibility, people that like the desktop subscription model, should probably think about moving now to more of a desktop subscription model, and there's also incentives to move to that model. So there's no black or white answer for when people should move, other than over time we will be eliminating the perpetual licenses, and so you do have to eventually make the move. Number 6 here is, beside the allure of the discount, why should I invest in a 3-year rental plan? Why should I trade the flexibility? Great question, and I agree. The only reason you want to go ahead and take advantage of that discount is if you know that you're going to be on maintenance for 3 years. You lock in a price. You know, from time to time we do have cost of living increases on pricing. But for the most part, I think you have to weigh the flexibility versus the security of buying the 3-year. And for some people, it's budget related. They have the budget now, they won't have it, and they're not sure they'll have it next year. So, you know, go ahead and lock it in. The last question here is, what are the main perks and services of the subscription? As I talked about, probably the biggest is the fact that you're always going to have the latest and greatest in software. But just as important are some of the cloud-based services that you're going to have access to. Rendering's one, simulation is another, storage, collaboration through A360. You can already start to share some of your designs with your clients or colleagues. And these are all things that come as part of the subscription packages. We're going to continue to focus our development in more of the services associated with the platforms that you all use every day. And that's one of the reasons long term we won't continue to do perpetual and the other licenses, is we want to start to focus our development and make sure that we're delivering on all the features that our customers want. And many of those features are going to be service-based features, primarily cloud enabled as well. So, you know, I think there's many perks. It's clearly not just about flexibility. I think there's other things, and a lot have to do with the future of making things, which is how I started this presentation today. So that concludes my presentation. I know that there's probably 100 other questions. The good news is there's a lot of information out there. You know, please, you know, feel free to reach out to you know, any of the Autodesk employees or our partners, and you know, make sure that you get all your questions answered. So with that, Barbara, I guess I'll hand it back to you.
Yes, Ray, thank you very much. Everything is illuminated now. There were a million other questions, but unfortunately we don't have time unless you're planning on staying in San Francisco for the next 15 years. But I will address the question to you, and then you can direct them to the people at Autodesk. I think there are some of them have great feedback, and I would love for this faithful customer that took their time to ask the question to, you know, to find somebody that receives them. What do you think? I will make sure people at Autodesk get them. And now I will take the screen back so I can wrap everything up. And I would like, first of all, to thank everybody for attending this webinar. And I also want to remind everybody to visit our page at Novage.com, where you will find all Autodesk special. Novage is the best way to buy design software online, and the Autodesk rebate promotion expires on July 24th, so there is no better time to invest in your future, and the time is now. And like Ray said, if you have any questions, call us, and you know, we're here for you to answer all the questions, even if they seem crazy, even if, you know, our sales hero will take their time and guide you through this transition. And for information on our latest specials and new releases, join the Novage Network on Facebook, Google+, or Twitter. And to watch today's webinar or to share with your friends and colleagues, check out our Novage YouTube and Vimeo channel. Our webinar playlist as webinar for every software taste. And thanks again for joining us. Thank you, Ray, so much for clearing all the cobwebs and all the doubts from, you know, from where you stand. It's all clear, but our customers were a little confused. So I think this is a great answer. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and keep following our webinar, and give us a call. Bye.